I know what it's like to not like yourself, and to not like your skin, and to feel like you're ugly, and to feel like you hate your hair. I know what it's like to feel less than, or to feel like an imposter, and to feel like, oh, that's just not a me thing. That's just not gonna happen. But sis, once you start to love yourself, the game changes, and you'll find so much beauty and so much peace and joy when you realize that you're actually an amazing person who can get things done. We need a little more positivity out here. We need a little more oomph, some spice to this whole bitter mess that's going on. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Simply Thandi. If you're new here, you probably don't know me. Welcome, my name is Thandi. A little bit about myself. I kind of wanted to start YouTubing, but for reasons outlined in my next video, which you can click up here to see, I decided not to pursue the YouTube route, at least now. In today's video, how I learned to love myself as a Black woman in today's society. Just a disclaimer, I'm sorry if this video is a little all over the place. I'm just going to be talking to the camera and hope that I make sense and hope that this advice helps some people. If it does, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Before I jump into my video, here is a little bit about me. So, I am a 22-year-old medical student who is currently studying in Malaysia. My accent is a bit weird because I grew up in the US, in South Africa, and in the States. But my family is originally from Malawi, but I grew up traveling, so I've experienced a lot of different kinds of Black culture, a lot of different cultures in general, and a lot of different types of people. And because of that, as well as other experiences, that despite my grand old age of 22, I have a little bit of stuff to share in terms of confidence, in terms of how I conduct myself, in terms of how to just kind of live your best life. So that's what this whole video is about. Thanks to lockdown, thanks to some recent personal events, I just kind of decided that we need a little more positivity out here. So this is me throwing it out on my platform. And this isn't exclusive. I'm sure that the advice that I give is applicable to any race or gender, but me specifically being a Black woman, I have gone through certain struggles, how I've experienced it, how I've overcome it, how I am overcoming it, and kind of my plans for the future, etc., etc. So without further ado, I hope that wasn't too long. The core to my message today can kind of be summed up in three main sentiments. Number one, be authentic to yourself, your true self, and your true self's desires. Number two, balance and simplicity is the key. And number three, you really need to view your life as a journey. You really need to view your life as an evolving story, and you are the author. You are the center of your life. And once you kind of wrap your head around those three things, life changes completely. And at least in my experience, that was like the triggering event for my life to change around the time I was like 16, 17. One thing that I do want to start with is this notion that self-love and self-care is not the same as selfishness. And it's also not the same as vanity. Too many times, especially on the YouTube platform, we talk about self-love and self-care and all these gushy-mushy things, but they are almost interchangeable with being selfish or disadvantaging others for your own self-gain. That is not the same as having boundaries that protect you and your health and your interests and the people that you love. So those two are not the same. And it's also not the same as vanity in the sense of
I am so obsessed with myself that I must look good at all times so people can admire me, and I am the queen of the universe.
That is not what I'm trying to promote here.
Structure, planning, and self-love.
So many people in their early 20s drift around life, floating from here to there, kind of searching for things that'll make them happy, or just kind of going along with what your friends are doing, or what society says you should do, or what your parents suggest you should do. And whilst there's nothing wrong with that, the main reason why people are doing that is to avoid being miserable. Nobody wants to be miserable, right? But you can't live your life running away from something. You need a magnet. You need to be attracted to something, and you need to have a goal. You need to be working towards something. And it's really, really, really important that Black women just kind of take the time to sit down and think, what is it that I actually really want in life? So the way that I did it, or the way that I do it, is I first of all come up with a certain theme. For example, I want to be strong. That is a theme, but it's not something tangible. How do I measure strong? That is something that I have to decide. At the beginning of my whole sports and weight loss journey, I decided that I wanted to feel strong. It did not matter about the number on the scale, but that was an inevitable result. I wanted to feel like I was capable to run and to ride a bike and to climb a mountain and enjoy it. I wanted to be that person. So that was the theme. I broke it down into smaller tangible goals. And once you have the goals, you need to turn those goals into habits. Things that you can do on a daily basis that get you to where you're going. Eating, learning how to cook well was a thing for me. Making myself go and do at least one form of exercise every single day was essential for me. Following people on social media who were where I wanted to be in terms of like physical and mental strength. Those were little tiny habits that I sprinkled in my day that essentially got me to reach my goal and inevitably led me to reach my theme of feeling strong. So how I love myself physically. So whether or not you are religious, I think it's still a healthy idea to view your body, mind, and soul as a temple. And so what goes in is very, very, very important. Essentially, the whole theme is to consume things that better you. Consume things that are going to be of use to you and your happiness and your future. Cooking good and eating good is one of the biggest ways to feel good about yourself. So I try and eat as healthy as I can on my budget. You know, that doesn't mean going out and buying the most organic stuff. I don't know about you, but when I cook good food, or when I learned to cook good food for myself, it was a game changer. And YouTube is the perfect platform for that.
Health.
Growing up, I was never the sporty girl. But by the time I reached 15, I just thought that I was fat and I was ugly and I would never be like the skinny girls who could do cross country and run. And that all changed for me when I first went to university and I joined a bunch of sports. It opened Pandora's box in terms of self-love and how to care for yourself. If you are not into exercising, get into exercising. That's all I can say. It doesn't need to be going to the gym. I was not very keen on going to the gym at first. You need to find something that you love and something that you can stick to and be consistent. I'm very, very wary when it comes to the scale and numbers and the whole losing weight movement. If that's your goal, then cool. Do it for other reasons as well. That's all that I would suggest. When you do look better, that gives you confidence as well, but just being able to sweat it out and focus on something other than the things that are going on in your life. It's such an underrated tool to better yourself. I felt more refreshed and had more energy during the day. I was naturally more hydrated. I was more motivated. How do you do this in lockdown? You can do dance workouts. You can go on a walk. You can go on a run. I personally like riding my bike or riding my friend's bike at the moment, just around my neighborhood. It makes me feel free. Oh, and hygiene. Hygiene falls under this. I think we all like to think that we have really good hygiene, but there's always something to improve. YouTube is the platform for that. So learn something new, improve your hygiene. These all go to making your physical body feel better, and it gives you the confidence to go out and slay. So all that physical stuff is good, but it means nothing if it's not changing up here. But if you still feel that self-hatred, it does nothing. It means nothing. Literally, you are the only person you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So you might as well as learn to work with yourself. You might as well learn to be your own gym partner. Learn to be your own life coach. Learn to be your own parent, mother, father, whoever you looked up to. Learn to be that for yourself. And literally, I will go to the mirror and say, hey yo, you are awesome, but babe, this ain't cute. We need to get this sorted. XYZ needs to happen today. Are we doing this? And you don't understand. I look like such a nutter sometimes when I'm talking to myself, but it actually helps. It really, really helps. Another underrated tool that Black women just don't utilize is learning to listen to yourself. Nobody is gonna listen to you if you don't listen to yourself. you know? And you need to learn and practice doing that. Practice saying, hey, yo, you need to do X today, and then actually doing it, or finding ways to encourage yourself to do it. Avoid gossip. I avoid social media a lot because it helps me to avoid being overly invested and overly involved in other people's stuff. And yes, it is important to be clued up, but I think too often it's easy for Black women to get wrapped up in caring about other people's issues and about other people's stuff. You even know what's going on in your own life, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, girl, life is time is going. Time is going. And I bet you that a lot of the people that you think are for you, and a lot of the people that you think are positive and are good influences on you, aren't actually. I encourage you to sit back and observe the interactions that you have with people. Take notes as to who brings good energy into your life, who is always talking about other people, who is always talking about negative events, who is always complaining. Honestly, the only way you're going to get to the positive self-love mindset is if you distance yourself from negativity. Now, I'm not saying cut people off, ghost people, or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying try and shift your conversation. Try and focus more on the people who bring in life and light and love. Two things that have helped me my whole life, though, is journaling and reading books. Let's start with journaling. Journaling or diary keeping, call it whatever you want to call it, but writing down your thoughts on a daily basis is instrumental for personal growth. And we all think that we remember events well, but just try journaling and then look back on your journal and you're like, damn, that really happened that way? I really thought that way? That is important for highlighting your own good and bad behavior and implementing change. It's also important because it keeps your life on the D-low. Not everything needs to be out there, and that's where journaling comes in, because it allows you to be completely honest with yourself. All the intrusive thoughts or things that you would never discuss with anybody, you can discuss it with the pen and paper. And getting it out there and then realizing, hey, yo, that's toxic. Or, hey, yo, I need to do XYZ about this is so key to change. Not only is it good for self-reflection, but it's good in tracking your own progress. A lot of times we don't even realize how much progress we make until we actually are confronted with the evidence of it. Ever since I was a child, I've loved reading books. I loved books that told stories of real people, things that real people go through. And it allowed me to escape in a very healthy way. It allowed me to learn things from other people's lives. It allowed me to deal with stress and deal with disappointment, because I'm like, hey, yo, if XYZ could go through this, I can go through this, even if it is a fictional character. And that is such an underrated tool. I feel like all of this advice is really underrated or just not talked about enough. The situation may not have changed, but you've changed. Your mindset has changed. You are now calmer. You might have gained some insights into something. You now might have a different approach to the problems that you had in your life. I don't think you get that from anything else other than books. I've never gotten that level, that quality of escapism, positive impact. I've never gotten it from anything else. Stay away from the substances. And as an extension from that, I definitely suggest reading philosophical books. Philosophy helped me to think of life in the bigger picture. I don't know how. I think that is the point of philosophy. It makes you look at things in a whole different way, and then you apply that to your own life. So philosophy, read up on philosophy, listen to some YouTube videos or podcasts or whatever floats your boat. How I protect my mental health. Get off social media, sis. And yes, I agree.
The promotion of unrealistic beauty standards is detrimental to women's health.
But what are you doing about it, sis? Following good social media accounts is important, but every now and then I think it's important to just completely disconnect and completely be intentional and present in your own life. I have noticed in my own life the quality of my experiences gets so much better when I don't have to post it, or when I don't have to compare it to what somebody else is doing. And comparison is the thief of joy. My next point is to challenge your own view, challenge yourself. You do this by learning a little bit about everything. I think it's very important for Black women to not just focus on the thing that you're studying in college, or university or high school or wherever you're at, but to expand your worldview and learn about different cultures, watch documentaries, learn a different language if you can, learn about your hair, learn about history and the things that interest you about history. It doesn't even have to be Black history, but I think Black history does give you confidence when you know where you've come from. It's about knowing your roots in that sort of sense.
And you won't know until you learn.
One thing that built confidence for me was learning how to present and joining the debating society. Why I say this? Because debating forced me to defend views that I completely did not agree with. And it helps you when you do go back to your own way of thinking to think, why do I think like that? And have reasons why. And I think that's really, really important in developing a strong sense of self. Whenever you can or whatever you can, push yourself to learn more about the things that you don't know about. If you also want to push yourself academically and intellectually, learn for the sake of learning. Learn for the sake of challenging yourself and growing and becoming confident in what you know. And my final but probably most important tool that helped me to love and appreciate myself, self-discipline. I might make a whole video. I could make a video on any of one of these topics. But as a short note, self-discipline is about love. It's about loving yourself enough to make yourself do the things that are hard at first, but have a long-term benefit. And I don't know why we live in an age where self-discipline is so, feared, but you're not gonna get anywhere if you don't have some kind of structure in your life. If you think back to your high school or primary school days, we had structure, we had goals, and we had a way to track those goals and track your progress. Now you need to be that teacher to yourself and bring that kind of structure into your life. You don't have to be as pedantic as some people are and, have a whole bullet journal and tracking sheets and minute by minute plans. But try it out. Find what works out for you and push yourself to kind of give yourself that structure and that plan and that goal. Y'all, we can do this. For real, we can do this. And we can all do this. I know what it's like to not like yourself and to not like your skin and to feel like you're ugly and to feel like you hate your hair. The game changes and you'll find so much beauty and so much peace and joy when you realize that you're actually an amazing person who can get things done. When you start living up to your true self and start working towards your dreams, it's exciting. And life becomes this whole nother adventure. I always say to people who know me, I would not be here as a medical student at 22, studying and living in Asia, doing my own thing, if I didn't have the confidence and belief in myself to just kind of take that leap of faith. And that took time to build. It wasn't an overnight thing. I think I really started from the age of 16. 16, 17 were the biggest changes. And by the time I was 18, 19, I was in this headspace of, girl, you can do this. I'm making this video because I want other people to experience the joy and the fulfillment and just the wholesomeness and the awesomeness that comes from loving yourself and having confidence to go after your dreams. So yeah, be authentic to yourself, find balance, view your life as a journey. You are the author. Any single day you can hit them with a plot twist. It's easier said than done, of course. It's easier said than done, but it's worth it. It's just so worth it. I'm sorry that this video is long and a little bit all over the place. I hope that you found something that you relate to. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it. Share it with another person who just needs to hear some uplifting news. Hey, you got this. Yeah. If you like this message, I would love to hear what you think about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.